Hey everyone, happy Saturday if you're watching this on Saturday. I thought I'd pop on here and record a quick video on some stuff I've been reflecting on for the last few weeks around relationships. I've been listening to a couple webinars and observing relationships, and not just primary relationships, but just even anything from an acquaintance to a friendship. And one of the webinars that I had watched last week, I've actually watched it a couple of times, talks about relationship versus partnership. And when we're in relationship, we have expectations of another human being or even of ourselves. And when we're in partnership, we're in co-creation. So I have found this topic to be extremely interesting, mainly because a long time ago I learned that if we have expectations, they're preconceived resentments. So and a lot of the time, expectations are not spoken. So in the webinar that I had watched, she stated it like beautifully, that they're not spoken, and you don't know that they're broken. The expectation is broken until it's broken, and then it comes out, and then you or the other person are then made aware that there was an expectation there. So it's been really interesting to be an observer of this in my own life and in other people's lives, of what we expect of other people. So in primary relationships, for example, and this is not necessarily relating to my primary relationship, but a lot of primary relationships that I've observed is, I don't know if I don't know who wrote the book or did a TED Talks or what it was about, or sorry, where it was that I saw it, excuse me. But it was, there's pink jobs, so for girls, and then there's blue jobs for boys. So the pink jobs are stuff like getting the groceries done and getting the housework done and the laundry done and the kids taken care of. And the blue jobs are, doing the car maintenance and maybe mowing the lawn. So I find that interesting, because sometimes we have expectations of our primary partners that these things are just going to get done, and we don't actually have conversation around it. So curious to know what your thoughts are on it, and if you've ever had expectations that have been secret, and when they have come to fruition of the expectation wasn't met, if you were upset. And if you were upset, how did you relay that to the person that you had the expectation with? Did you talk to them? Did you withhold the information from them? Did you get angry and let expectation after expectation after expectation be a disappointment because the expectation wasn't met, and then all of a sudden there was the straw that broke the camel's back and there was an explosion? Personally speaking, even though I was taught a long time ago that expectations are preconceived resentments, I'm still human, and I still can find myself in that state of expectation. So I'm now learning to voice what I need in a clear, clean way, and to be very specific, and then to find if the need isn't being understood the way I actually need it to be, if I'm not communicating it properly, and it's not being understood, then it's my job to find another way to voice the need that I'm looking to have met in a way that the other person can understand it. So this can be a need with my partner, this can be a need with my friendships, this can be a need with my child, this can be a need with my son's dad, And a lot of the time during my life, my needs I've not voiced them in a clear, clean way. They've been passive aggressive, or they've been very silent, or again, it had become an expectation, and then all of a sudden the expectation wasn't carried out the way I expected it to be, and then there's a blow up. So, like I said, I've been just sitting in an observer's point of view and watching and inquiring with other people what their expectations of their partner is, or their children, or how that looks and how does that show up for them. So I've gotten some really interesting feedback on that, and part of the feedback is a lot of the people that I've talked to about it do have expectations of their friends or their partners, or other people in their lives, and they don't actually talk it out. They don't say, so, you're my best friend, and the expectation that I have of you is you touch base with me once a week. Or you're my wife, and the expectation that I have of you is you do the dishes. Or you're my husband, and the expectation that I have of you is you make sure that the car maintenance is done. Or you're my husband, or you're my wife, and the expectation is that, we're intimate 3 to 4 times a week, or whatever that looks like in that relationship. For me, for example, with my son, I have expectations that he's going to show up in a certain way, and every time I have that expectation and that expectation isn't carried out to my expectation, I get really disappointed. So I've learned in the last little while, just even to communicate with my son, that a lot of the time he's 20, and a lot of the time he doesn't understand my expectations, and he doesn't understand why I have that expectation. So I'm learning 20 years into being a mom of communicating with him in a clean, clear way so that he does understand. And he still has a brain that is developing. So I remember being 20 years old and life was just all about me. So if people had expectations of me, I wasn't happy, because it was all about me all the time. And it was like that for a long time, well into my 20s, until I had decided to change my life. And then even after that, even till today, I still have expectations. I just show up in a different way. And sometimes it's not a pretty way, and sometimes it's a very clean, clear way. So I'm just, it was something that I've been wanting to post this video for a couple days, as it's been on my mind as I've been doing some work around it. And again, would love to hear your comments, your feedback. Private message me, send me a text or a phone call, and tell me what your thoughts are on expectations. The flip side of the relationship versus partnership was in partnership that we co-create stuff. So I've never been in a relationship that has co-creation. It's always been an expectation kind of relationship. So co-creation is, what are we co-creating together? So in a partnership, what is our relationship mission? In a mom-son relationship, what is it that we want to co-create as a parent and a child? How do we want our relationship to look? Let's sit down and map that out. So my son being 20, for example, I would love to travel with him once a year, and then but I've never expressed that to him. And so then what does that look like being mapped out? Am I paying for the trip? Are we both going to get an extra job and plan a date and make sure we have passports? And are we going to do it together? Is it going to be on one person? Co-creation is about creating it together. So again, would love to hear your comments, feedback. Private message me, text me, call me. It's just a really super interesting topic that I've been exploring for the last couple weeks. So anyways, that is my rant for the day. It is Saturday, September 1st. So here in Edmonton, it is chilly. and it's just about time to pull out the winter jacket. It feels like summer is definitely leaving us quickly. So wherever you are, whatever day it is and whatever time it is, I hope you're having a great day, and I hope to hear from you soon, and I will be live again soon. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Bye-bye.